Hi, this is Tina Marie, and welcome to another episode on the Unbalanced Pedestal Podcast. Today, I have a special guest, and he is a financial advisor, and we are going to talk about wealth building, debt management, insurance, all the shebang, and how that all relates to generational curses and how we grew up with that mindset of lack in our lives. And I'm so looking forward to you guys just tuning in and let's get right into it.
Yeah, I started my day, of course, like I usually do, for something in the morning. I actually did a coaching session this morning for my team, which was great. It went well, and hop on the morning meetup, and got blessed, as well by David Shan. It was definitely powerful this morning. So yeah, so far it's going good. You
That's
know.
wonderful.
Yeah, so far it's going good.
So, when you say coaching, is that for your industry as far as your entrepreneur business?
Yes, as far as coaching, I guess I won't say coaching, more of a training session. Um, but we have a morning call as well, which is Monday through Friday as well. We do that every at 7:30, 7:20 Eastern time. And pretty much just kind of motivate, help people just wake up and get some inspiration, or just see that things are doable. Just, give you some positive vibe to start off your day.
Okay,
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what we do. And it's
awesome.
great. It's a great learning experience.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
so this is in the space of like for our listeners, just to let them know what exactly the name of your company, the industry you're in,
Yeah.
what do you do, and how do you serve the community and clients at large.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thank you. First of all, again, it's a pleasure to be on this platform. And my name is Manker. I am a licensed financial professional. And really, what that means is most people like to say financial advisors, but we are actually individuals that provide education. Our biggest thing is full education based on us giving you a full education and giving you all the options that's available. Then you could pick what works for you. And before we even, give you, the option, we got to realize, you got to figure out what your situation is, particularly because most of us are not even aware of what what we're going through, right? And once you realize that, now you can take the proper steps. So, and with that, our focus is usually the um, foundation, which is insurance. Insurance, as in health insurance, life insurance, long-term disability, short-term disability, long-term care. All of those are powerful, but most people have no clue how they all work and how important they are to really building your financial portfolio, right? Because a lot of people, again, when it comes to finance, it's all about invest, 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 and hopefully I will get there. And we don't even know where there is too. We don't know where there is, because I had a conversation. I mean, I don't mean to go off trend, but I had a conversation with one of my coworkers. He was like, I'm like, so when you want to retire? He's like, I think when I have like 9 million. I'm like, where did you get that number from? How? So, okay, 9 million. How do you plan on getting that? Oh, I think I'm gonna get a few properties. Okay, but having those properties doesn't necessarily mean you have the 9 million. And that's, first of all, you got to have a business and have people, watching I'm like, so yeah, so we got to realize where that, quote unquote, people think about it as retirement. When is your retirement age? How, do you figure that out? And how long do you plan on staying in retirement, right? Because retirement is the longest vacation we ever had. So really,
That is true.
in, in short, what I do is really wake people up on their financial journey and really give them the proper tool to get to where they want to go financially.
Mm, that's beautiful. And I love that story. 9 million, like it's throwing it out there.
Right.
I
You
was
know,
I
like,
was literally calculating in my head of like, okay, so is that net or gross? And
right.
what properties would actually gross that amount?
I mean, you know, it's
Possible.
not it's possible, especially being out here in the California Bay Area, especially. It's possible, but you just gotta really calculate, okay, how many property would that be? Let's say you need 8 or 11 properties, right? That means you literally have to have a business and watching if you're doing it like the landlord style, right? You got to have property management, right? And it's not, again, it's not going to be netting 9 million, right? Because that's debt essentially at that point before you could actually own those properties. So it's just like, anyway,
And
but
then
yeah.
also the big caveat is the type of property. So that's like commercial buildings, residential buildings, apartment
Mhm.
complexes,
Yeah.
and yeah, and of course the amount of rental income per unit.
Right, right. It's a whole process you got to go through. So it's just like, when people come up with these numbers, I'm like, okay, so how are we going to get there? Oh, I don't know. So I'm going to put my money in stocks and hopefully I'm going to get there. Like, yeah, no, yeah, no. Yeah, so. And I just wanted to ask, you said on your investment, there was a time consumed issue this morning. Do you mind talking a little bit about it?
Oh, for me?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
the
time
investment
consumption.
side.
Oh, yeah, you mean trading my time for dollars?
Oh, is that what you meant? Okay.
Yeah. So for those of you who are listening and are not familiar with the morning meetup, so we're in this great entrepreneurial space where we meet every morning, Monday through Friday, and we are part of a book club. And as the host with the most, the Black Oprah, the podcast king, what else? What else can we name it?
Right,
The
right,
titan of all.
right,
Right.
right.
And he refers the 9 to 5 job or the employer as investor. And so that's my, yeah. So yeah, so I
Mm,
was basically doing that this morning. And it's again great. I'm grateful for having that while I build and I serve. I also get to learn from them and apply what I've learned externally and put it into them and test those waters because it also actually helps my coaching business and it helps my podcast. It gives me material. So I was like, oh, okay. So it
yeah,
all
yeah.
sinks in. So yeah,
Right,
I can't complain about, if I do, then that means something is wrong.
right, right, right.
I'm missing
Absolutely.
something, but
Yeah,
it's just I can apply it to a lot of things.
yeah. No,
Um,
okay. That's definitely
yes.
beautiful.
So I have a question. So,
Yeah.
what is the common myth about about your industry as far as financial investing, insurance? Like, what is that? And then do you target a specific demographic, or do you see certain different demographics
Hmm.
are more lenient, or I say more growth mindset, or have a fixed mindset where they're like, okay, sure, let's get some life insurance, opposed to some ethnicities, they kind of, it's hard. It's like trying to drag a horse to water.
Yeah.
Do you experience that? Like, what is that like? I know that was a lot. I just threw at you at once,
No,
but
no, no, no. It's all great. I love it. I'm here for it. Let's do it. Let's do it. No, but absolutely. So my industry, some of the start off as far as myth is people was like, well, first of all, licensed financial professional. What is that? I've never even heard of that title. Like, where did that come from? I know a financial advisor, and he works at, let's say, Wells Fargo or Bank of America, and I could go to him and and ask about products and things of that nature, right? But the things with them, they're restricted, right? They're restricted to products that specific company could sell, right? And if it's out of their range, they're not going to really help you because they're trying to make a sale. So um, they're only going to advise you on products that they could make a profit off of, right? And for us as licensed professional, we are broker. So we're not tied to one company and we're not trying to, sell you one product. We want to be able to actually look at you as an individual. And we're not looking at like the dollar value, you as a dollar value. And I saw a ish like an article recently talking about like all these huge companies like JP Morgan, and all of them, you have to have a certain uh, income values for them to actually talk to you, financial advisor at those status, right? You got to be making a certain amount for them to actually even take you to the side and give you the right, amount of things that you need. But as far as financial professionals, literally where you at, meet you where you at to kind of guide you in the right direction. And of course, we do get paid. It's not, a non for profit, but the beautiful part is the company that you as an individual choose is the one that actually pays us, for our time and services. Um, the myth in regard to financial products is it's really because of lack of understanding, right? It's really because of lack of understanding because all these products have been out there and it's being used by certain demographic that we talk, but a lot of certain communities are not really privileged to have this education. So when it comes across exactly like the life insurance, for instance, right? When it come across, it just hit in the negative side. It's like, oh, the only time I've heard about it is when it pertains to death. The only time I heard about it is somebody's trying to sell me something. So it's a scam, and somebody ripped me off because I had it for 10 years, and I realized that it wasn't even the right product, and I wasted money in it, right? A lot of those things. So it's like, oh, insurance is a scam. Oh, I can't even like permanent insurance, or the one that most people know about is the whole life. They're like, oh yeah, whole life is a scam. It's so expensive, and money can't really grow in there like that. I don't even know how to use it. It's all really a lack of education and having a bad experience. You got people, again, you got individuals out there who are really good salesmen, like
Mhm.
really good, right? They'll sell you your own products that's on you. Like, wait a minute, wait, did I? Like, wait a minute. So, and when you have a situation like that, it makes it hard for you to actually, change those people's mindset. And what helps with that is, I guess, as we're learning from the morning meetup, is being consistent marketing, you know, and really being a person to do it, right? Showing like, listen, I got these products because I understand what it's doing for me, what it's going to do for me, this is how you can use it. This is, you're not doing it for the purpose of X, Y, and Z. You're doing it for this. What is your reason for doing it, right? Uh, and those really how it is going to kind of change the mindset a little bit, because and how people view these products. Again, um, I feel like as of very recently, the topic of financial literacy has become a hype thing, and everybody's on their wave. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing because people are now taking action, hopefully, right? They're taking, or at least taking the initiative, I should say, not necessarily action, because now we're being flooded with so much information. And now that we're informed, or hopefully we are taking the information in, the next thing is to take action. And being the fact that there's so many information out there too, people get overwhelmed. and don't take action. And that's why I love, because I come in and I'm sitting down with you. I'm like, listen, okay, yeah, you want to do this, you want to do this, you want to do this. Where we at right here?
Yeah.
Where we at today? Okay. So, okay, how are we going to get to tomorrow with where we at? Right. And then, gradually walk us there and give us that GPS coordinate, so to speak, and then talk about what the destination is. And when we got it like that, now it seemed doable, right? Versus it just being, I want to make 9 millions, or I want to retire at 30 and you're 28. So but yeah, as far as certain community, there are certain community that have been educated for the longest, on finance, right? It's been a topic of conversation in homes. But as far as my community, African community, the Black community, it's not a topic of conversation. And I, as of recently, started following the Earn Your Leisure community, and Richard, I believe, had a he had a tech talk. And what one of the statement that he made that really hit home was like, when kids ask their parents how much they make, that's like an insult.
Mhm.
Why should it be an insult, right? Or how about you go talk to your kind or your kids, go stay in the kids section. Why is there a kids section? And things like that is looked at as a bad thing. But how am I supposed to know and change and quote unquote change generation if I'm being placed in a certain group? I'm not allowed to talk about certain things, especially money. Money, when it's when you're capped on what you know about it, it becomes something that, again, you want to know more about. And we pretty much end up fighting the same thing that our parents do. So that's definitely why I love the fact that financial literacy is, I guess, a cool thing now that most people are on, but we still need to actually implement what we're learning, right?
Oh my God. That's a lot for me to follow up on. I'm actively listening. I'm like not also remembering to like what I want to say to many
No,
points
absolutely.
brought up. Because this podcast, the Unbalanced Pedestal podcast, it's something that has been in the works for many, many years and is now
Hmm.
came to fruition literally last month.
By
And
the
the
way,
main thank you.
congratulations.
And the
Absolutely.
main topic is generational curses within our
Mm.
community. And you touched on so many things that I've experienced as a child and as an adult. So going back to what you mentioned, the life insurance. So I was recommended to an agent that was majority, right? He was white, and it was by another family member. So I felt okay. It was cool. We
Right.
trust him.
Yeah.
My mom is with him. Other family members with him.
Right.
So he sells me this life insurance policy, and I think I was paying maybe $100 or $200 per month. And I'm like, great. My kids are covered. I thought it was $1 million policy. If anything should happen to me, and I was like 29 years old when I got this policy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm, all happy and everything. Like they're covered if anything happens to me. And then year five rolls around, and they're like, okay, so now you got to pay like 500 and something dollars. I'm like, wait, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
to find out, going into it blindly and trusting, like you said, it was a term life policy that I was paying for that whole entire time. Where if I actually had knowledge, I could have been paying for, like you said, permanent or whole insurance and building cash value for those 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No, that's mhm.
Yeah, and things like that, which made me stop looking for insurance altogether because I'm like, I don't know who to trust anymore, and I've been looking for like the past 2 years, and from the spaces that we're in, between on your leisure and the guest that David brings on his podcast as well, talking about whole insurance. It's something that I'm definitely going to revisit short very soon. And yeah, so it's just like that knowledge and this that lack of knowledge and just being scared of what other people will say or other people's portrayal. And so the other part too that you also mentioned, which I thought was also hit the nail on the head as far as what this platform is about, the kids section.
Mhm.
Asking mommy and daddy, how much do you make? Taboo. My family is from the Caribbean, so even if you do something even less, like, how much, the milk, not the milk, but something even less than that cost, they'll probably throw a shoe at you or something. Like,
Yes,
it's very
yes.
taboo when it comes to, knowing what someone is making. And just to like circle back on that, I started my own personal development journey 6 years ago. And because my previous investor that I was working with, I had like a complete total breakdown, like depression, anxiety, stress, all of these things, right? And I was just telling my kids everything that was going on because, they see me, I'm there, but I felt it was, I don't know what compelled me to do it, but I felt that it was so important for them to know what was going on just so it wouldn't happen to them when they get older, when they go into a workspace or if they decide to, collaborate or whatever they decide to do when they get older, to
Mhm.
make sure that they're armed and prepared because my parents never armed and prepared me for life, like straight
Mhm.
up.
Yeah,
Not about finances, not about, just how people are in general. And
yeah,
so again, circling back, the kids section, like what is that? Because kids are, they're part of us. They're human beings. Yes, certain things shouldn't be said around them. Sometimes it'll be too much adult talk, if it's too sensitive
right,
for the ears. But for
right.
them to know, okay, um, okay, so this is what mommy or daddy's making. So at least I know what to gauge what my worth is, or they're talking about the stresses in their life, or just being open and communicative, yeah, communicative in life in general. Because this is going off topic, but the other day, just for me communicating over the last 6 years is actually coming into fruition,
Mm,
especially within the last year. Two different conversations with I have a 20-year-old son
okay,
and he's in third year of college. And I also have a 15-year-old daughter. She's also a sophomore in high school. And both of them, two separate conversations, occasions, they are both coming to me. Well, one is coming to me about relationship advice,
okay. No, that's
which
beautiful.
I would
For
never,
for them to come to you, that's amazing.
I couldn't go to my mother for that,
Yeah,
let alone my sis, like anyone in my family. Like you go to your friends, right? And you
yeah.
go, so, and then another one, tells me everything that goes on in the conversation about what their friends are talking about. I'm like, okay, so we have that kind of relationship. Okay, I got
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
So it's all about communicating, the finances,
Mhm.
what you should be doing with your finances, right? How you should, manage your money. What, you have that $9 million retirement goal.
Yeah,
Let's start now at a very young age to build up that wealth. If you're going to do, I mean, we're in spaces where we can do anything. You can have vending machines as
yes.
a business. You can have, oh my gosh, so many.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
No, it's a beautiful time that we're in right now. Like I love the fact that now again going back to we have so much information out there. So it's just about implementing execution.
Mhm.
over excuses, as I say. But I want to take it back to when you were talking about the kids section and
Mhm.
not talking about money. It actually had a epiphany for myself right now because my dad, he labeled prices on everything in the house. Like literally, it would not necessarily labeled, but oh, that cost me $500. So if you break it, can you pay for it? Or this is services cost me X amount of dollars. And I remember as a kid, I'm like, so why don't you fix it? Right? In my mind, it's like, okay, instead of you spending all of that, why don't you at least look into fixing it instead of talking about how much you pay for it or how much it costs you to fix it. And thinking about it is probably what made me become an aircraft mechanic, to be a
Mm.
mechanic, because I started really always working with my hands, fixing things. I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm not gonna spend all of that quote unquote money for the services if I could do it myself, right? So as we were talking, I'm like, yeah, I think that's really what made me be a mechanic, because I'm like, listen, and so it's so profound that things like that mold us into what we become and in life. But yeah, that's really interesting. I just had that moment. That's beautiful. But so yeah, I really just had to say that. But whew,
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, and then for me, like when you were saying that, like I thought about my kids, like when I tell them, when they were younger, is if if you break it, you bought it.
mhm,
Because I always, when I talk to them, I always think about what I always put myself in their shoes and their age, because I can literally travel back into time and remember exactly. Don't ask me why, but I remember to the age of 5 years old, so I can remember anything from 5 and up.
okay,
Yeah.
wow, okay,
uh, but I think it's for me, when you said that, it was more so children just don't know the value
hmm
in general.
hmm
If they break something, they're like, okay, it's just a thing, it's a toy. Like, because we put, as humans, value on materialistic items,
hmm
right? So that's, for me, it's just like, yeah, going to for me, going to like my grandmother's house or my aunt's house, it's like you break it, you bought it, or something like to that nature, where you're kind of like, again, generation curse, they put that limiting mindset on you. It's not saying, okay, I need you, can you please take care of this, because in a different way, instead of putting that stigma, like if you break it, you bought it, and then it's like this whole
yeah,
eerie like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna even go near that thing. And
right,
you're petrified.
right, yeah,
You're like
yeah,
literally petrified growing up. You're like, you're having nightmares. Like, what would
right.
happen if you do touch it?
Right, right. You don't want to touch it. It's kind of like, I guess, going to either aunties or even your. I remember my mom used to have plastic on some of the sofa.
Oh yeah, I grew up in
Right.
that household
So
too.
that, so that's that's exactly something similar like that. But that's funny.
Oh gosh, you brought me back to like a few different households. My mom household, my grandmother's, my ex fiance.
Yeah.
Uh, he was my ex fiance from last year. So I'll say the last 5 years.
hmm
So no sofa with plastic on. Prior to that,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
5 years. Okay, so this is like
Yeah.
people still do it. They
Oh,
still
of course.
do it.
No, of course. I'm sure. I'm sure it's a thing. I'm
They
sure.
still do
I'm
it. And
sure it's still happening for sure.
it's just like, I get it. You spent what, 3, 4, 5,000 back in
Right.
1970.
But no, I mean, I get that part. It's just again, it comes down to how we deliver these messages, what we're trying to get across. And to mine, it was more like like the dollar is so much, you don't know how to work for it. And so I I guess worked 2 weeks or whatever to afford the service of getting this fixed. So you can't even pay for it. So don't break it or don't use it kind of thing. So again, that's why I believe in the back of my mind, I always wanted to fix things.
Mhm.
So at least when I fixed it, at least I know the value of it, the time that I put into it and the energy. So if it breaks, now I understand, right? So it was explained in the sense of the value of it versus, oh, it costs this much, you can't afford it in that lifestyle. Then it kind of like, okay, so how can I afford it, right? How um do I work the same job that you do or work, so in my mind I feel like, the explanation in that sense. And now kids growing up in that type of environment would look at money as either is it something that I could actually accomplish, do I, so yeah.
So question. So how did you make the transition from was it aeronautics? Is that correct?
Yeah, aviation.
Aviation. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to
Yeah,
go fancy
no,
and stuff, right?
right. Aeronautic. I mean, they call
That's
it
space,
aeronautic.
right? That's
Yeah,
space. It's close enough. I mean, you're going in the sky. I mean,
you do, right.
you're just not going out of the atmosphere.
We're not doing Jeff Bezos right now. We're
You
not
guys
going.
could tell I didn't take that class in high school. I just stuck to chemistry and biology. That was it.
Call it a day. Call it
This
a
was
day.
definitely not in my on my schedule.
That's
So,
funny.
how did you make that transition, like uh, from aviation
Mhm.
to financial literacy?
So how I started the process was, first of all, I'm not completely disassociated with aviation. I'm still in it. I'm on a with a financial literacy, and the business is a part time right now, and been doing it for close to 4 years. Um, but how I got into it was really first back when I was young. Somebody introduced me to an opportunity, and opportunity actually exposed me to a great environment, right? I believe that was a bug that really kept me, give me a different drive. And, but at the opportunity didn't seem fitting for me at the time because first of all, maybe my mindset wasn't there. And I had a mentality of making quick money, fast money. And it wasn't happening at the time. It just wasn't. So of course I let it go. And my environment was like, oh, it's a scam, don't do it, all of that, right? So I let it go, and that's how I was able to get into the aviation field. Once I got into the aviation field, now again, the bug that was put in me, now it's like, okay, this can't really be all you want to do, right? This can't be all you want to do with your life. And because, yeah, you're making decent money more than you was making when you were working 2 to 3 jobs at a time. Now, wait, and you're not even seeing the money still. So what does that mean, right? So now I started investigating, learning about the money now, right? And asking people that I know, obviously my circle of influences, parents, siblings, things of that nature. And the answer that I kept getting wasn't really what I wanted. Oh, stay with this company for X amount of years and retire with a pension, or 401k is it, things of that nature. And that wasn't, or go back to school, some of the answers. So that wasn't really what I wanted to hear. So I branched out and started connecting with network marketing company. I tried quite a few, and it just wasn't my thing. But what happened was, one of the leaders from the opportunity prior to, like, maybe 10 years later, still once in a while would check in with me, see how I was doing. And I connected with her, and she was like, well, it didn't work back then, 10 years ago, because maybe it was salesy, whatever the approach was. But now it's completely different in the sense of is fully education, right? And that's at that time, that was perfectly what I was looking for. I'm looking for education so I could figure out my situation, not necessarily to get in the industry or anything, but right when I got in, like a whole world opened up, meaning I started learning about credit. I realized where my end goal as far as retirement, I could set that for myself, right? Understand what investment is. Debt management is the thing that I needed to work on, right? Emergency fund is actually real and I need to set that up. So once I started understanding that, and of course, the importance of life insurance and what options is out there and how I could implement it. So really, that was my way of getting in. And once I got in and I started learning, I was like, wow, I'm quote unquote aircraft mechanic, and I'm supposed to be having a decent financial house, and I didn't know nothing about it. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people around me don't know, and of course, my environment clearly didn't know any of this. So maybe I could be able to share this information with people, and really that's how I got in there about 4 years ago and been doing really good. Yeah.
That's
I don't need to be an expert, but I have some right amount of information that is definitely be able to change people's life.
yes. One thing that like ding in my head, you
Yeah.
said debt management.
Hmm.
I remember we had a previous conversation about well, from my experience of just getting store credit cards, and you're like you're 18 years old and you're like
Right.
charging up
Right.
everywhere and you're like,
Right. Right.
"Wait, what is this? I got a bill?
Right. Right.
I gotta pay
Right.
$15 a month? I can't
Right.
afford that.
Right. Right.
I'm only making
Right.
$8.25 an hour."
Mm, right.
See, I'm dating myself, guys. So you do the calculation, 8.25 per hour. And that was
Shoot.
that was
Hey,
big money back then. Shoot.
man, my first job was literally I was getting paid under the table $6. So
That's a
I
little
was
better
getting
for
paid.
you. My first
Uh-uh.
job was well, my first job was with ShopRite. And I was a cashier. It was a brand new store, and I believe it was $5 an hour. And then
Wow.
I quit um after like a few months, and then I found another job a few days later, and it was like 5.25. So I was like, oh.
Big old raise. What? I'm winning.
In high
I'm
school making
winning.
5.25.
Right.
You couldn't tell me nothing. I was like, I'm independent. Thank you very much. I'm ready to move out.
Right. Right. I'm about to get a car tomorrow. What?
Exactly. Get my yacht. But yeah,
Oh
that's the
man.
reality. Again, going back to what you're saying, not talking about income in a household, not talking about debt management, not talking about
Mm,
credit, all of those things. And I
right.
know we also touched upon, maybe we can do like a part two to this, but definitely
Absolutely.
speaking, about financial literacy for the youth, the younger generation, because I find that so key. And,
Mhm.
I did share with you, my vision many, many years ago of just like going into public schools and talking more about financial literacy and how that affects our younger generation. And so yeah, that's something that I wholeheartedly believe. Yes, as adults we need to work on our credit and but if we do not fix it with the younger generation now, who knows what's going to happen, when we're gone off on this earth, how are they going to hold it up for themselves, how are they going to maneuver, and like who's going to teach them if we're, not passing that knowledge, same knowledge that you receive, that you're working on passing on to that, that younger generation.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's key right there. That's definitely key. Because again, we can at this stage, right, be like, okay, I know about life insurance. I know it's instant wealth and things like that. I could get myself the 9 million policy, $9 million, $10 million policy, right? And God forbid, if I do pass away prematurely, my kids are wealthy beyond their means, right? But guess what? The thing is, if they don't have that education, that understanding, that thing will be blown. And within that same generation, not even next generation, within the same generation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very, very critical that we also pass on the education, right? With the education, that's why, again, I go back to the morning meetup community and the fact that, we're reading all these amazing books because, man, my favorite book, I read it before we read it, and it became my favorite book after we read it, the Richest Man in Babylon. Man, it's talk about when the richest man was able, ready to, pass on his wealth to his kid. He didn't just want it to, okay, because you're my bloodline, I hand it all to you. He wanted to see what's going to happen to his wealth. So he tested him. He's like, go out into the world and see if you could actually live on yourself, and what you learn, come back and report to me in X amount of years. And throughout that process, he realized his son, being the individual that he is, could be a wealthy man, through our life experiences, and the wisdom that he was able to share with his son was more powerful than the money that he was going to be leaving down, right? And now, so his generation after him would be wealthy because now we're passing on more than money, right? So it's very critical that we definitely pass down the education. And talking about the next generation, they are watching us, right? They're watching us. Yes, we could educate, we could be a mouthpiece, but not live the life, right? So we could be a preacher on the pulpit, and then right when we get off the pulpit, doing X, Y, and Z, and then we hope our message get across. It can't be like that because kids watch more than they actually listen,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So yes, if you are educating and also living that life, it's going to definitely help once it's time to, I guess, pass on that legacy, that generation wealth and things like that. I believe it'll make it an easier transition.
Yeah, most definitely will. Definitely will. So I know we're almost out of time.
Mhm.
And I do have one more question.
Absolutely.
If you were to go back into time, do time travel, back to the future,
Oof. Oof. Okay. Okay.
what were three things you would tell your 16-year-old self?
My 16-year-old self. So that is, I am making about around 650 or so, $7. Uh, Now I'm actually getting a check. Okay, I'm getting a check instead of under the table. So Uncle Sam knows me now. Uncle Sam knows me by name now.
Always
No,
in your wallet.
I always in my wallet. Me and him are not friends, but he knows me. I never met the man, but he knows me by everything. But anyway, what is three things that I would tell myself at that time? Hmm. Uh, First of all, believe in yourself. Okay. Um, Stop trying to get approval from other people. Um, and really ask a lot of questions, because I don't know, I feel like something that's in the back of my mind. First, I'm probably scared to ask any question, because I don't want to come across as not knowing, or stupid, or whatsoever the case is. So I don't ask questions, or it comes to, oh, I just understand,
Mhm.
and I don't.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. Maybe the way you said it sounded good or something about it, but I need to ask more questions. I need to ask all the questions, even the one that sounds stupid in my head, because at the end of the day, for what I found out is the stupidest one is the one you don't ask, right? The one you don't ask is really the one that's really stupid, because you could have known it, but now you could have known it another way too. So I believe definitely believe in yourself, ask a lot of questions, and don't really take other people opinion of yourself really that much. So yeah.
Oh, we definitely have to touch on that one next time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Yeah.
So,
So
before we close out, let our listeners know where they can find you. If you have any programs, how they can tap into you, any courses, whatever you have going on that they could just connect and learn more about you.
absolutely. No, I definitely appreciate again. I am honestly on all social media platform. Okay. I know it's a lot out there, but the main ones, Facebook, TikTok, IG, LinkedIn. Yeah, those are the main ones that I'm on. And really, I'm always serving in the sense of really providing great information on financial literacy. Again, that's because that's what I was looking for. I'm still looking for it. I'm still looking for it, right? And because it's a journey. So, but I'm always sharing what I know. And if you have any question financially related, definitely tap in. If I don't know, I will find it for you, And after that, my humble request always is we implement. Again, information is useless if you don't implement. So what I really love that we do as a company is we provide free workshops. We provide free workshop really Monday through Friday on all aspect of finance. So if anybody want to get on the workshops, definitely click DM me on any other social platform, or if you big on IG, I got links on my bio, so you could click on that and we could go from there.
Awesome. And then what is your social media handles? Are they all the same?
Yes, Manker Biah, Manker Biah. Honestly, if you type in Manker, it usually pop up because I believe my name is very unique. But yeah, Manker Biah on all social platforms.
And that's sorry, that's Mankerbiah.
H. Absolutely beautiful. Yes, 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 yes. Manker Biah. Yep.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, Manker, I thank you so much for, carving out some time to have this chat.
Absolutely.
Despite of all the technical difficulties between the first one and then today of me just having to press that shiny button. I mean, it wasn't really shiny. It was just like, oh, what is this doing? It's like, oh,
What
okay,
is
no
uh,
audio. All right, not do that again.
hey, we're learning as we go.
I'm not ashamed
Shoot.
to
No, absolutely.
happens.
No, of course. I mean, we don't know until we know, right?
Oh yeah. And
We
then we
don't
learn from
know
our
until
mistakes, right?
we should. We should. We
Don't get
should.
angry, just learn from your mistakes.
Right. Right. But no, absolutely. It's been a pleasure. I truly appreciate you allowing me to be on the platform and just be able to just share my story and share what I do. And I would love to send the same invitation once I'm get started with the podcast. So I look forward to it.
Of course. And we definitely going to do a round two, right? A part two.
Yes,
Talk
yes,
about the youth. The two
yes, no,
my
yeah,
cousin Vinny.
no, absolutely, definitely. Yes, the youth, the next generation definitely needs, especially financial literacy, because again, they're so exposed to it. It's so much in there, and a lot of what I see when it comes to the youth is everybody's investing, but we don't even know about the proper steps to get there. right? And we don't even know where we put in those money when we get it, right? Because again, Uncle Sam is always going to be your friend, whether you like it or not.
Definitely, definitely he is. I mean,
Yeah. So,
yeah. But yes, thank you guys. Again, thank you so much for coming on here. Thank you for those listeners who are watching and listening to the Unbalanced Pedestal podcast, where we talk about breaking generational curses through all areas of our life. And our guest today, Manker, who shared so much about just financial literacy and just the stigma that's within our community. And it is possible to get, build your wealth and get credit that will propel you and just, have you retire at $9 million.
it. That's it. That's the number. I love it. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much. And we'll definitely connect, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye. If you enjoyed that episode, you'll certainly love the deleted scenes as well as the bloopers, especially where I was having audio trouble. I had to press that shiny button, although it wasn't shiny, but Manker was actually singing where I couldn't even hear him. I know, how crazy is that? But if you want to view those videos, go ahead, click the link in the description box where you get access to the Facebook community, a private Facebook community, and you can have access to all the deleted scenes, bloopers, and things that happen behind the podcast scenes. All of those things you'll definitely get access to. So just go ahead, join the community, comment, like, subscribe. You know what to do. I'll see you later.